Well, this is another episode of BC Artist Showcase, and I'm in the studio with Layla. Layla's visiting from Montreal. We have what's getting to be a long history.
Fairly long now.
Fairly long history. And we're going to talk about a lot of things today. First of all, we're going to talk about some of your early influences and early years. So why don't we just start that right now? Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So who were your early influences?
I dove...
Stravinsky, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I dove into my dad's record collection at a young age and definitely was introduced to Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, Billie Holiday, Etta James. And then I got into more like Santana and Janis Joplin, Led Zeppelin, started collecting my own records and getting into the 60s and 70s.
During the drug years.
Heavily, right,
Yeah.
Yes. Before the drug years even, yeah.
The fake drug years.
The music really spoke to me from that time period because it was very creative and that there was a lot of jam bands and it was pretty psychedelic and definitely there was a lot of experimentation then and not just drug experimentation, Chris.
No.
But, and of course...
Did you like the Doors?
Yeah, I actually did like the Doors. I did listen to the Doors growing up, yeah. But my top influences, I'd say, are the best songwriters that I've found in my lifetime listening to music, and that's Bob Dylan, who of course is still classic. A lot of people have covered his material. Neil Young, Tom Waits.
Yeah.
These are some of the greats. And
did I ever tell you the story about Tom Waits coming to CKVU Television?
I don't know.
Okay, well, Tom Waits came to CKVU Television and we were scheduled to shoot him and no one really knew too much what he looked like.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be picked up at the airport in a limo.
Yeah.
And instead he sort of got confused and took a cab and he came to the studio and he was tired. He never bothered telling everybody who he was and he fell asleep in the doorway.
Yeah.
Right, of the station.
Yeah.
And the president of the station came along and said, who the hell is this bum? He called the police and was having him removed. And he was actually sitting in the police car. He didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
And someone said, that's Tom Waits. And so they pulled him out of the police car and brought him in the green room.
Oh, great. I still haven't met him. I'd love to someday. I mean, at least he's still around because a lot of my influences are dead now, unfortunately. A lot of them I don't have the chance to meet. And I did mention Frank Zappa, who's a huge influence, but of course not necessarily with the voice, but with just his passion for music. And also he's been was very independent in a lot of what he did musically, and I have been.
He was quite brave.
Yeah, brave, and also financed or found financing for a lot of his projects without, major corporate support. So I think he's been kind of an idol, not just musically, but also.
Which is a good thing because he wasn't very kind to corporations in his music.
Also in his business sense, definitely, I've kind of followed his lead a little. So those are some of my major influences, and of course, I get compared to Janis Joplin constantly at shows because of the sound of my voice, the raw kind of power intensity that I bring to it on stage, and also the way that I look. And I did listen to her a lot growing up and listen to her records a lot, so of course she was an early influence. Although I hope now that people can hear more that my voice has kind of grown into itself and become more my own sound.
Well, you can do a lot of things with your voice.
Yeah, I was doing speaking to kids, doing the Blues in the Schools program, and I said, when it first started out, the best thing to do is imitate other artists that you like.
Yeah.
Try to imitate the way they sound, and also even just note for note some of their songs, and maybe even just replace their songs with your lyrics, and just start out that way to learn more about songwriting and learn more about how to sing.
Everybody does that.
I think it's a good place to start, and then hopefully you grow from there. So.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back and we'll start talking about, the start of your professional career and, your first record.
Sounds
and
great.
That sort of thing, okay?
All right.
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll talk with Layla.